change your name. So just some housekeeping notes first. We're going to ask everyone to turn off their well, you don't have to turn off their camera because I'm going to spotlight Stacy. Hang on, we're going to pin you so you'll be center. But we do want to mute everyone. Except Stacy. Hang on, where are you? Da, 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 da. Okay. Stacy, you'll have to unmute yourself. Got it. Okay, very good. So everyone, we have a chat button. So if you can put your questions in there, and Stacy's gonna talk. We're gonna put the questions in here. And then once we're ready for Q&A, we'll open it up and, and I'll call and I'll say, like Arthur, what was your question? Or I'll say Monica, Shirley, so you can ask your question live, but we're just gonna let Stacy talk first, okay? So everyone, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Stacy Donovan, the director of Hallmark Publishing, and she is going to tell us everything.
That's awesome. And let me make sure, how much, is this an hour session, Maria?
This is an hour session, but if you want to go a little bit longer, we're good.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, sometimes I get talking and I want to keep it down. Yeah, so I'm Stacy Donovan. I am Bryn Donovan on Twitter, because that's my pen name, and I head up the creative side of Hallmark Publishing. I have a counterpart who does the more business and distribution side. And if you missed it, I'm here with Eunice Shin, who does the function of an editorial assistant / associate editor at Hallmark Publishing. And by the way, it is Eunice's 1-year work anniversary with us. So I've been telling people all day because we are so happy to have her with us, and I don't
Congratulations, Eunice.
I don't know what we would do without her. I honestly do not. So that's us. I think what I'll do is give a really quick history, and it is quick because we haven't been in business for that long. Quick history of the business, some things you might want to know as authors, what we're looking for, and then I'll just try to answer questions if that sounds okay. All right.
Perfect.
So we are a pretty new business. This business got started because I pitched it to the CEO of Hallmark Channels. So I was at Hallmark Cards and didn't know anyone at the Hallmark Channels, but I reached out to the CEO and said, next time you're in Kansas City, can I have half an hour with you to pitch a business? And he said, okay. And that's how it got started. And our first books were in fall 2017. So we started out ebook only, and we started out with only companion novels or novelizations to the movies. So you already have the movie and you make a book out of it, and then you put in bonus scenes and an extra what happens after the movie ends kind of thing. So we started out then in fall 2017, and things progressed rapidly. So we went into trade paperback, we went into original romance, and then into audiobook and into cozy mystery. And most recently, we've gone into mass market paperback. We have a great new deal with Walmart where they take a mass market paperback of a romance of ours every month. And that program's been going for a few months and it's going really well. So that's kind of the history. In terms of authors, so just some things that you might want to know. So someone asked if we were open to proposals. Most of the book deals we do are based on proposal only. I've acquired like 2 or 3 whole manuscripts, but most of them are proposals, and we can talk more about what a proposal kind of a successful proposal entails later. But usually we go a couple of rounds. It's almost never yes out of the bat. It's either like no or yes with changes, and we collaborate a lot, which is my nice word of me getting all up in your business. But then we have a proposal that we both feel good about and can move forward with the book deal. So most of our book deals are made just on proposal. It's a pretty typical advance plus royalties contract. And I should say about that then if it gets made into a Hallmark movie, that's another lump sum payment. You get paid all at once the day they start shooting the movie. And then what else? Every book comes out in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook. And like I said, there's a chance of a second run with mass market paperback. And let's see. I mean, I guess I can talk a little about marketing. We're very good at driving advanced reviews, and that is all what Eunice handles all of that. So everything goes up on NetGalley, everything goes to our list of reviewers, and so that's something we're very good at doing. And we do a lot of the same things other publishers do. I think we, more than some publishers, we probably do BookBub a little bit more than some in terms of using them for featured new releases and featured deals. But there are some things we can do with marketing that other publishers just absolutely cannot do. And one of them is that we'll make a TV commercial of your book. And so, and a couple of my authors didn't know that we did this. And so they had the experience of watching a Hallmark movie and a commercial for their book comes on during the movie, which is a really great feeling. But now they all know that we do it. It's unfortunate right now, all of our production is shut down. And so, you know, in terms of books to movies, we've already made 1 and 2 movies, Secret Ingredient with Nancy Nagel. We have more in development right now, but we've been frozen for months. We haven't been able to make anything. Usually with book releases, we try to look for a couple of different things. Sometimes we have these preview specials and we'll have one of the actors like hold up your book and talk about it on TV, which is really great. And we love to have authors themselves go on Home and Family, which is our nationally broadcast morning show to talk about the book. And usually for those, you're making the rest. You don't have to be able to cook though, but you're like making the recipe from your book on the show and talking about the book, and that's really fun. So it films right out here at the NBC backlot, right next to the Good Place set, and that's a really fun thing for authors to do. So that's in terms of marketing, some of the things that we look at. And so in terms of what we're looking for, right now, officially we are closed to unagented submissions. However, I have carte blanche to take submissions when I want to. And so if you're here, you are invited to send me proposals, because I think there should be rewards for showing up, right? So yeah, so you can absolutely do that and send them to me and copy Eunice. But we're looking for
your emails. I'll give it to everyone.
Yeah, we're looking for lots of G-rated romance and a little bit of cozy mystery. And you guys, when I say G-rated, I mean not only is there no sex on the page, there's no sex off the page. They don't think about sex, and they may not know that sex exists. So that's how it is, okay? Very G-rated. And so a lot of times in first draft, I'll have an author who feels like they've written the sweetest, as sweet as it gets, and then I'll be like, nope, still too much kissing, take it out. This dialogue's too, I never thought in my career I would write too sexy so often, but I do that a lot. Yeah, so very G-rated. Priorities for us, diversity is a huge priority for us. I particularly would love to get an Asian American romance because we haven't had any yet, but diversity in general is definitely a priority. In terms of
even LGBTQ?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I won't go into all that. But yeah, I am actively looking for that. Yes, and I've put out calls on Twitter, and I'm expecting to get some of that. Like right now, books we have right now have LGBTQ secondary characters, but I am looking for LGBTQ romance. Let's see what else. Oh, I get a lot of Christmas submissions, which absolutely makes sense. However, I have more not Christmas slots. So you might want to consider that. Like I mean, just in terms of sheer numbers, you up your odds a little bit. If you send me, say, I'm always looking for beach reads because in June, July, Kindle daily deals, that's what they want, you know, gold box deals. There's a lot of other promotion opportunities. Retailers want them. So I'm always looking for beach reads. But I'm looking for all kinds of, we love a seasonal tie-in, you know, and I'm looking for all seasons, think about all seasons of the year, not just Christmas. That being said, the Christmas ones are bestsellers, so you know what, like, weigh your odds. Just see what you want to do there. And let me think what else. Okay, I guess that's all I've got. So I will open up to questions. Do I have any?
Okay. So, Stacy, let me start by asking you: Are the books G-rated because the movies are G-rated?
Yeah, and so the strategy, and especially because we do audiobooks, yeah, so for two reasons. All the books that we look at, all the books that I acquire are possibilities for Hallmark movies. And so it opens up the, you know, it makes it more likely for it to go into development, you know, if they don't have any rough edges to sand off. And so, yeah, this whole strategy of the publishing business has been like Hallmark movies, only books. So that's been the whole strategy in terms of the sweetness, in terms of the importance of like family and friendship and community as subplots. We love to see it. So yeah, it's funny because like Hallmark cards, they'll do pretty saucy and racy cards, you know. But with Hallmark Channel, yeah, it stays very sweet and G-rated. If you're listening to the audiobook, you can listen to it with your kids in the car, and you don't have to explain anything. So.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, so did I hear? So if you buy my book, it will be an ebook, a trade book, and an audiobook.
Correct.
And maybe a movie.
Right. Yeah.
But I still get my commercial.
Yes.
I may not get a movie, but I get a commercial.
That's right.
Okay. I can live with that.
And I've got a.
Who is that? Hang on.
Okay. So I have a couple questions here, and Jean's asking, do you want proposals for single titles or for series? And if series, 3-book series are longer. You know what, we usually take it proposal by proposal, but we love series. And so what you would do is do a proposal for book 1 and say, I think this is a series, give me a paragraph or so for your idea for book 2 and a paragraph or so for your idea for book 3. We're so new that we don't have a lot of series, but we have a couple of them, and we're always interested. And for Cozy Mystery, we only want series ideas, really. So, and then what about a little suspense? This is such a great question because it brings up an overarching thing, which is we started out not doing any plot lines that were too dire because Hallmark Channel is very, honestly, you know, it's funny because everyone else is like, dial up the tension, dial up the suspense. It's the opposite on the Hallmark Channel. For instance, I did the basic storyline for the movie Christmas in Evergreen, and then the script writer ran with it. I only did the very basic story. But originally I had a lost dog, and the town came together to find this dog because I'm a dog lover. Okay, it was too upsetting to have a lost dog. Okay. And so that was like, I was like, oh, okay. Now we are going a little more in the direction where we can get more poignant and heartfelt. And so, for instance, our book Wrapped Up in Christmas, which did gangbusters, had a soldier with post-traumatic stress disorder. So we are going a little further now than Hallmark Channel is. One reason for that is we have a 3rd channel now, Hallmark Drama. And we don't have original programming for it yet, but we will. So now we are opening up to more heartfelt and poignant. In terms of suspense, though, we don't like people to be in danger of their lives. We don't like, you know, killers on the loose and things like that. So it's just too serious and too gritty for us.
I was thinking more like something missing jewelry or more like the stuff camp they do on what's her name, Cameron Bure, that kind of.
Yeah, sure. I think it's, you know what, I think it's great. And I mean, we have our cozy mystery almost always has a romance subplot. I think it's really fun to have a mystery subplot for a romance. And it's fresh and different. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And then, so proposals, me and Eunice Shin. And Maria, I think I'll send those emails to you.
Yes, I'm going to put your email and Eunice's on the chat so that everybody can pick it up.
Yeah, thanks. Are we looking for romantic comedy? Absolutely. So on the one hand, we love a really emotional, poignant story. And then on the other hand, we love something that's really funny, definitely. People know us for, in our urban settings, okay. People know us for small towns, and that's always going to be a part of the mix, but we definitely do big cities and in between also, and they can be fictional or, so small towns are almost always fictional. If it's a big city, I think it should be a real city. I think it feels weird to make up a, I don't know why, what's the difference? It doesn't make any sense. But for whatever reason, the big cities are always real cities, and the small towns are almost always fake. So, and word count is, our sweet spot is around 75,000. Yeah.
75,000?
Isn't that too big?
For what? So for trade paperback, it's a pretty nice size. Yeah.
Because Harlequin categories are like 50, 55, maybe 60.
Yeah,
yours are longer.
But Harlequin Heartwarming, which I write for, is 70,000 words.
Yeah, we're single title in that category. And so it's a nice length for us. Yeah.
Did you get the question about what plots do you not want?
Oh, that's great. I didn't see that yet. Sorry about that. What do I not want? Okay, I don't want the weird will where they have to do something weird for a year or live in a house with someone they don't know or run a bakery or something. I don't want that. So for some reason I get really strange wills a lot of the time. Let's see what else. Secret baby is not a thing with us for obvious reasons. Because if you can't have sex, you can't have a secret baby. Let's see. Oh, okay. We don't like to see an evil ex as the main conflict. Okay, so when we like to see a conflict, we like it to be a real organic conflict that's going to make both of those people grow as people. You know, which is harder. Gosh, it's so, people say these things are so easy. It's so hard. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. But yeah, we don't like the evil ex, okay, or the evil boyfriend or girlfriend. So I'll get manuscripts where the girlfriend or boyfriend who's not going to be in the picture eventually. It's like they're a little bit cartoonish, you know, or she's really obsessed with Instagram and makeup, and I'm like, hey, I'm obsessed with Instagram and makeup. So we don't like to see people ex or the bad boyfriend, bad girlfriend. So G-rated, kissing is okay. What is too much? You know, it's funny. It's not. So Hallmark movies almost never have kiss until the end, and there's a very basic reason why, which is their hard evidence shows that when they have a kiss in the middle, some people turn off the TV.
Oh.
So
Wow.
they have a very strong reason not to want to kiss in the middle. With the books, we mostly don't do it. And so we're famous for the interrupted kiss. And there's so many fun ways to do the interrupted kiss. And it's we're so famous for it, it's almost like a, you know, like our audience is like, the interrupted kiss, you know, like it's a familiar thing. But in general, with G-rated romance, it changes the goalposts a little bit, if that makes sense. You know, you don't have a physical relationship without an emotional relationship. And so it kind of just changes the logic of it a little bit. So mostly we don't. So a lot of times I'll tell people take out kissing in the middle. Sometimes if it's like, oh, is he into me or not? Like, well, if you're making out, it kind of seems like he is, you know. So sometimes it's a tension issue too. Widowed, we do widows and widowers all day long. Absolutely. And single moms, single dads, love it. Kisses and Ruptus, yeah. So, let's see, medium-sized cities, they can be, medium-sized, we've had medium-sized fictional cities before, yeah, so.
You do a lot of European locations?
You know, we didn't, but we really follow the movies, and they've been doing more and more aspirational destinations, you know, in Paris and in the Caribbean, etc.
In Bruges?
And so we are, yeah, so we are open to that now. I was just having a great discussion with the producer like yesterday. And I think that we like to have one character be American, just to be sort of a audience surrogate. So they experience, you know, the European sights and culture, you know, kind of through that character. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with the chat thing on my computer. Can I ask you this question? What specific things are you looking for in a proposal? I mean, form-wise and maybe content.
You know, early on I made a PDF template, and then it didn't work out at all. It was supposed to like limit people, like how much people wrote, and it didn't limit it. And so I just stopped doing it. Here's the things we really need to see. It's like a synopsis, but you're pulling out a few elements. Here's the things we really love to see. We really like to get a clear idea of who those main characters are, clear idea of their goals, and a clear idea of their character arc. So sometimes like I come up with a storyline. I've done this a few times and have just given it to an author, a commissioned novel. Oh, and by the way, you of course own the copyright to the story, unless it's a story we came up with, and then we own the copyright. But when I do a proposal and it seems so goofy, I literally write out, you know, Danae's character arc is that she goes from, you know, this thing to like learning how to trust people, you know, from being jaded to learning how to trust people again, you know, or whatever it is. I'll write it out in a sentence or two, right in the proposal, because people are like, oh, okay, you know. It seems like almost heavy-handed, but it's really helpful when I'm talking about it with producers. So, yeah, so
Is
make that.
there a length you would like? Short?
For
pages?
I would say 2 to 4 pages.
2 to 4 pages.
Yeah. And it's probably going to run more like 4, honestly, when you get into it. Yeah, so we really like to see the motivations be really clear. We tend to be suspect of things like, on a whim, she decides to visit every state in the union, and we're like, what? You know, so, you know, we really like to know why people do the things they do. I get a lot of proposals that fail. I would say like half of the proposals that fail because if it's a male-female romance, but this could happen in a same-sex romance too. If the hero's arc isn't, his obstacle to romance isn't there. So she learns and grows, and but we have something where he just loves her the whole time. And it's like, well, no, they both got to overcome stuff to fall in love, both sides. Yeah. So seeing that hero's obstacle to romance and the hero's character arc it's easy to neglect, and it's very important to us. So.
Anna wants to know if these submission guidelines are posted online.
They are at Hallmark Publishing. Go to the Hallmark Publishing website and go to the For Authors tab. Yeah, and there's probably a lot more that I forgot to cover.
How many books do you put, like a certain number of books out a month?
We're still pretty small, and so it kind of how many we do kind of depends on how much Eunice and I can physically take. So we work with, and I work with, and I should say I work with editors who are contractors. So I work with Rhonda Murwarth, am I saying her last name wrong? And I've worked with her for years, who used to be at Carina Press, who's absolutely fantastic. She's a genius. I work with Kelly Martin, who helped she basically started up Montlake Publishing for Amazon. So she's really, and now she's a literary agent. I am so lucky that she still does work with us, and she's amazing. And I work with Elizabeth Mazer, formerly of Harlequin Love Inspired. And I have a fourth editor, Lisa Bone from Kensington and Harlequin, that I'm bringing along too. So we work with contract editors. I'm sorry, that wasn't the question at all. What was the question? How many books
per month?
So it's more than one a month. So it's more than one a month. I think I'll have for 2021. I think it is a small list. I think I'll have 15 tops lined up. So
For the year.
yeah, it is a small list.
Okay. How many new authors have you bought this year?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know offhand. How many were people we were already working with versus first timers? I'm not sure. Maybe
Do you do like 2 a year, maybe?
Oh no, probably more than probably more than that. I mean, I would say more than. Yeah, I would say 5 or 6, maybe. I honestly don't know. I don't have a number in mind of like what would be you just pick the best book. So I don't really know. Yeah.
And so you have diverse authors, diverse stories, and you just said that you were looking for an Asian romance.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because early on, I could not get diverse submissions to save my life. And I would make calls on Twitter and I'd make calls to agents, and less than 1% of our submissions were from authors of color. And I was absolutely, and then finally, I reached out to a couple of my writing networks, my personal networks, and just said, and I felt so much shame and just said, I'm failing. I don't know what to do. What do I do? And that is what turned the needle, because I was like, can you tell your friends? Can you tell them to pitch me? And that's what changed things. And so now we have great projects lined up for great diverse projects lined up for 2021. I'm feeling so happy about that. But I understand why it happened, because we were new. And if you're not seeing it on the channel, writer's time is very precious. Why are you going to waste your time until you're sure that they want you? And so it totally made sense to me. But I'm glad now that I'm getting those proposals, and it's really exciting.
Monica has a question. She wants to know what would increase the chances of previously unpublished writers' proposal becoming accepted, and would you want a writing sample?
Yeah, if you haven't been published before and you're sending me a proposal, I will. You know what? If I'm interested in it, I'll ask you for a couple of chapters. Is probably what I'll do, so I can get a sense for your writing style. Yeah. Oh, particular age group. So we don't do young adult or new adults. So I would say we like to see the heroine be at least like 23, 24, something like that. And it can go up at least to mid 40s, I would say, So we can have a heroine, for instance, who has a kid going into college and is meeting the love of her life for the first time. Yeah.
I want you to know my boss's mother is 84, and her new husband, they just got married 2 weeks ago. Her new husband also 84, and it was his first marriage.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Is that wonderful or what?
Oh, and I should mention, I have a soft spot for secondary senior romance as a subplot. That is a big, all right, so I'll just tell you about my secret things that really get me. So subplot with senior romance, absolutely love, something like that, amazing. I have a personal soft spot for bromance, for guys who are best friends, for brothers reconciling, anything like that. Oh my God, all day long. So just a couple, yeah, or families reconciling, father and son. That's really good. I like seeing guys be real emotional. So,
And dogs?
oh yeah. Oh, okay. So dogs. we love dogs, and you have to handle them very carefully. So we do all this work corporately with Adopt Don't Shop, Humane Society, etc. And so we much prefer rescue mutts over, say, pedigreed breeded dogs. And you cannot, dogs, it's really hard. It's like Christmas and Evergreen, she's a veterinarian, but animals can't be in trouble ever. So it made it a little tricky. Like, okay, well, a cow can have babies. That's what we'll do. Because they can't, you know, they can't be in a distressing situation at all, ever.
Maria, can I ask another question just because I can't figure out the chat, so it's
Sure.
not working here. Going back to what you said about what you're looking for, you've read a lot of romance novels, so there's usually one character with a problem that he's got to overcome, or she's got to overcome. Then there's the good guy, but the good guy sort of, the object that's the more responsible one has to have a problem too. So what are you looking at that both characters have goals, something to overcome, something that's keeping them from getting together? They both have some internal or external issue that they have to work through.
So sometimes there can be a lot of different kinds of conflicts, and sometimes they're opposing career goals. Trying to start a business, keep a business going, get a promotion. Sometimes they're that kind of goals, and sometimes they can be conflicting. Sometimes they're doing something for their family, and they have a goal there.
Right, okay.
Like Caridad Pinero's South Beach Love that's coming out next summer. The chef comes home to Little Havana because he's going to do the quinceañera. He's going to cater his niece's quinceañera, and it's a really big deal. His sister has business reasons for this quince going well, but there's a rivalry with this other girl in her quince, and they're rivals in school. And so the heroine is the rival chef who's doing the other quince.
Okay.
Yeah, as an example, which I thought was really nice.
I wanted you to know Caridad actually cannot be here tonight because she has company.
Oh, she's in this group?
Yes, she's one of our friends. Yes.
Such a good book. Oh my God. Yeah.
And she's the one who told me who to call at Hallmark.
Oh, I had no idea. Oh my God. It's such a great setup for a story, isn't it? And it's such a great example of conflict. And of course, so her character, her heroine wants to prove herself as a chef, and our guy has taken, he wants to, do this for his family, and it's just really great. Yeah. So ask Caridad. Yeah. Let's see. And tropes I'm looking for that are successful. Let's see. We really like things that have to do with, if you can do it, with friendship, family, community, reconciliation. That's a really good, those are always really good themes for us. So, I don't know. What else, Eunice? What do you think? In terms
Does small town count as a trope?
It is kind of a trope, yeah. We've done well with and we're always interested in royal romance. We're always interested in cowboy romance.
Cowboy.
I love second chance romance all day long. Yeah. So.
But no secret babies.
No secret babies, but we love having kids, and we love having kids be the matchmakers. Love it. Yeah.
And to your audience, how much of a turn on or a turn off is New York City if it takes place in New York City?
It's great. It's great.
It's a unique sort of place,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, we like it, and we set some movies there, and yeah, it's fun.
Do you well, I guess it's not positive, so you would not consider a pandemic romance?
I wouldn't, but it's partly, the reason I wouldn't personally is because I hope that by the time it comes out, it'll be dated. That's my hope.
Yes.
Yeah. But like there'll be a vaccine and it'll feel a little bit like, you know, yeah.
Well, it could be futuristic. We can plan that vaccine. Set it next year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then the other thing about that is, and this is good to know, you would never think about this in books that you aren't thinking also about movies. But we avoid stories where all the action happens indoors in the same place. So we had a movie. Well, I won't say this. But if you have a movie and everything takes place, for instance, at I don't know, a sales convention or something, right? In a convention hotel, and they're all in that like big convention room all the time. That's not a story we would like, or like Comic-Con. That's not a story we would like because we like them getting out and about in different scenes. Because when you watch a movie, it's not as much fun if you're just looking at the the same room for 2 hours, right? And we like, you've seen Hallmark movies. We like them going out to the apple orchard, going out and skiing, like whatever, like doing a bunch of stuff. And so that's something to think about. Yeah.
Alexandra wants to know about historicals.
We don't do them right now. I would like to, I love historicals. Like, so what on my own time, I read a lot of paranormal and I read a lot of historical. But for now, we don't do them. And we don't do paranormal, although we do do a little bit of
ghost.
A little bit of, no, unfortunately, but we will have like a touch of magic, especially at Christmas.
What is the production time? So once you buy the book, how long will it take?
It depends on when we get it. I'm trying to lengthen the lead times because when we started out, like we became a company in the summer, and then we had books out like in 12 weeks later, which almost killed me and almost killed the authors, more to the point. So I'm always trying to lengthen that lead time. But it just really depends. I can't really say for sure. It really depends on when we acquire it and when it fit into the production schedule.
And when do you decide that you want to make it a movie?
Honestly, it's so new that I can't say. If that makes sense. And everything you hear about Hollywood is true, where it's like, things just like, well, nothing happens forever. And then all of a sudden it all happens at once, again, it's just too new to say. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm replying to a private message too. Sorry.
Somebody wants to know the ideal word count. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, ideal word count about 75,000 words. Yeah. So,
can you tell us more about your? Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I was like, it can range. It doesn't have to be exactly that. So.
Can you tell us more about your cozy mysteries?
Yeah, so definite emphasis on cozy for Hallmark, and so nothing. I mean, of course, with all cozies, nothing can be too gory, etc. But we are really on the cozy side. And one thing, we don't like to have infidelity as a reason for murder, and so that makes it a little bit different. Other than that, though, I will say Hallmark cozy mysteries are closer to the rest of the genre than Hallmark romance is to the rest of the genre. I think Hallmark romance, it's like I say, it's just like the movies, and it's kind of like this thing of its own. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm just making sure I didn't miss any questions.
So the So once they send you a proposal, how long before you write back?
Oh God, I'm just cringing right now. Right now I'm very behind, and after next week, so I have 2 big Christmas books delivering to the formatter on Friday, and after next week, it's going to be a lot better. So I would say it ranges a lot. If I'm late, if I'm more than 8 weeks, I'll say 8 weeks. If I'm more than 8 weeks without a response, forward it and say, hey, it's been 8 weeks. So yeah. It's so funny because before I did this job, I was like, what the heck? Why does it take so long? And
now you know.
And the reason, and of course the reason it is that during my workday, almost everything I do is an emergency that has to be done that day. And so it can just be really hard to find that space. So forward it to me, say it's been 8 weeks.
Is it, how many people in your department? You, Eunice, and the 4?
And Natalie. So it's me, Eunice, and Eunice also works on DVDs. And it's then my counterpart on the business side is Natalie, who also runs the whole DVD business and runs the whole wine business. And that's it. So, yeah.
A small department.
Yeah.
We have a question about diverse submissions. Is interracial romance okay?
Oh, absolutely. We have one for next summer that I'm really excited about. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, Sweet Tea by Piper Hughley. It's going to be, and I was a fan of Piper's as a reader for years, so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, definitely.
Monica's a little shy. Monica, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah. So I didn't know if it would be rude to ask to see like what a successful proposal would be. I'm a little new to this. I didn't know if something like that would be completely confidential.
Okay, so I have asked one of my authors if I could use her, this was a while back, so I'm going to make sure she's still okay with it. But I asked one of my authors if it was okay to use her proposal as an example. And so, yeah, I could send that along after the meeting. But really, it's basically a synopsis, but really highlighting goals, motivation, and the obstacles to the romance and the character arc. Yeah, literally saying he goes from only feeling like he has to climb in his career to appreciating family. You know, just like literally saying stuff like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Barbara, you have a question?
So, if I have in mind a medium city, must it be fictionalized?
No, not at all.
Okay.
The small town is usually fictional, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Big city should be the real big city. Medium city, yeah, do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of plots, we do get a lot of bakers and bakeries. So I might stay away from that. I'm not taking any reality TV ones because I've already done 2 and they can be a little bit polarizing, some people with our audience. And what else? Yeah, I would say those 2. And I'm not taking any more authors as heroines right now. But that's like, I mean, it could change. It's just that we have such a small list that for right now, I'm not doing any more of those. Yeah.
Also, side note, please stay away from names like Aiden and Kate.
Oh my
that would be great.
Good point. This is so funny. We realized we had 3 heroes named Aiden. So Eunice is going to write a quiz saying which Aiden is right for you.
That could be a commercial.
Yeah, Eunice does our online quizzes too, so I thought that'd be great. Say immigrant stories where one is new to the U.S. Oh, I think that'd be fabulous. Yeah, absolutely. And one with an ethnic bent, Polish, Italian, Portuguese, any culture, any ethnicity, definitely. Yeah, I would love a story. Man, that would be great. I would love that.
But you don't want like immigrants crossing the border. That might be a little bit, that's dangerous and emotionally hard.
You know, it's probably too gritty for us because that's so, it's so dangerous and so fraught, you know, and it's pretty polarizing, but I would love to see an immigrant story. Yeah. Snarky dialogue. That is such a good question. Is snarky dialogue okay? And so Hallmark heroines are so nice, you guys. They're really, really nice. So sometimes anything that comes off as being a little bit mean, we'll be like, it's off brand. Something that I particularly will cut back on is if people are saying mean things or thinking mean things about other people that aren't justified. And so if someone's saying something, if someone's thinking something snarky about another person because they're a jerk, they're not treating people right, you know, that's okay with us. If they're being snarky because of their clothes or the way they look, or because, you know, they don't know as much as you or something like that, then we're like, no, yeah. Oh, and one of my hot buttons, I will say, is body shaming. And if I run into it in a manuscript, I stop reading. I just can't take it. So, if someone's
say body shaping or body
shaming, if someone's like making
shame, okay.
If the manuscript's like making fun of someone for being fat, I quit reading. I'm not having it. So, yeah.
And could you have a slightly overweight heroine?
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. And now the only caveat I will put on there, I'm absolutely open to plus size heroines. The only caveat is that her character arc can't be about losing weight, and her conflict can't be about losing weight.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We are confident in our pluses.
Fine. Yeah, she's gonna have problems, and that's not the problem. Yeah. Let's see what else.
More questions? Who else?
I think a couple of the struggles you can, when you're crafting a story, I'll talk about that. Some of the struggles can be making sure that there's a real reason for them to be interacting enough, you know? And it's really easy in a proposal to get so lost in the character's goals of like, he's trying to run a fishing lodge, you know, and then there's this tournament, you know. It's so easy to get lost in that and sort of forget to develop the romance on the page. So it's great for us to see things like they get on a boat together and fish and talk about this, and their connection deepens. Really nice to see that in the proposal. You can get so lost in the other stuff that you don't say, here, here, and here. They make a connection, it's deepening, they're falling in love, you know. And to say in the proposal, at this point, he realizes he's into her, you know, that kind of thing. So make sure you show that on the page in the proposal, and don't get lost in the weeds of just the things that are bringing them together in the first place. Yeah, and look for reasons that are look for reasons that are, I wrote an article for Writer's Digest, it was under Bryn Donovan, but for Writer's Digest on forced proximity, because I think about it so much, but reasons that they have to be together, you know, give them time to fall in love. Because, you know, in our romances, physical attraction is not quite as important as it is through most of the genre. And so we're not going to dwell very much on his, you know, chiseled jaw or his, you know, abs or anything like that. You know, they're really making a soul connection. It's really about them having shared values, having complementary traits, or, you know, just making that really personal connection. And for that, they need to be together a lot. So, so that can be a challenge in crafting a story, making sure there's enough reasons for them to be together. and think about the movie. Think about how, you know, you want to see both of those leads on the screen a lot.
I have a question about the balance between narrative and dialogue in the books, because generally, you know, this is kind of like flowing into movie thingies. So is the balance 50-50, or is the balance more heavily weighted on the dialogue?
You know, when you write and think about, it's such a great question. And when you write and think about it maybe becoming a movie, sometimes you look for ways to externalize things that otherwise are happening in an internal monologue. Like you're like, he goes away and thinks about this, but you know, on the screen, what is that? It's like, you know, and so, and so you figure out, instead, you're like, he goes and he's with his buddy and it comes out, you know, and then they wind up talking about it, or he takes this action because, you know, because he's upset, you know. So you look for ways to put things in dialogue, and even better in action that sometimes otherwise would just be an internal monologue. Yeah. Which actually I think, so I wound up writing one book for Hallmark just because I was doing the storyline, and then I couldn't bear to hand it off afterwards, so I wound up writing it. I think it's a nice challenge for a writer to think, how can I externalize it? You know, through the action, through the dialogue, and sometimes it makes it better. Yeah. Besides seniors, are there other secondary plots that work? So we love anything having to do with a community. I think one of the things people really like about Hallmark stories is the idea of being part of a community, having a supportive circle. Oh, and I'll say that about LGBTQ romance too. I am looking for it, but I am not looking for but we're light and fluffy, and I am not looking for LGBTQ romance where the family is having trouble with them being gay or something like that, you know. Yeah, like I want them to be like rival ad execs or something, you know. Like I just want, like, you know, fun, lighthearted conflict. We want to model in that area, especially. I think I would like to model what a supportive family and supportive community looks like. But yeah, so things about community, things, family reconciliation is fantastic. Pulling something together for a friend is, or a greater community goal is really great. Yeah. What about them? And the main characters dislike each other at first. So that can definitely happen where they're, where they've got the fun kind, you know, Hallmark kind of does sometimes, the kind of argumentative banter that you used to see in like really old movies, right? You know, yeah, like really old comedies. So they'll do that, yeah. So they can definitely rub each other the wrong way at first, and it can't be too harsh. It has to be light and playful. And what we love is when you have this banter going on, and there's, you know, this subtext to it where you see how much they dig each other and they don't see it yet. So, oh my gosh, it's so great. Yeah. So definitely
no sexual innuendos.
Right. Yeah. Because what's sex anyway? What is it? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, they can definitely be enemies to lovers as long as they're playful enemies. So.
Other questions? Jump in, everyone.
That's great.
All right, let me see if I have any. You've been wonderful, Stacy. I think we've gotten tons out of you. Now, you had said at the beginning that you, Hallmark only accepts agented manuscripts, but you will, you know, as long as we say that we were here, you will at least look at our proposals.
Yeah, you showed up, so come on. Yeah, definitely.
And everyone, I put Stacy and Eunice's emails in the chat. You'll have to scroll up a little bit, but they're there. And I will put them on our Facebook page as well. It's a private Facebook page, don't worry. And so that everyone can have them.
Yeah, and I do invite other people to submit sometimes without it. You know, I think that there can be particular barriers to representation also, you know, so I do sometimes just invite people to submit too. So yeah, even though we aren't always like open submissions can be, you know, it's a lot for Eunice and I, but just on a case-by-case basis. Yeah.
So is your load heavy now? I mean, you have the 2 books that you're finishing. So let's say August 1st.
Such a good, yeah. So August is such a great time to submit because I have a gap in my schedule, in our publishing schedule. So we get our Christmas books done, and then there's like some space where I'm going to really be getting caught up with proposals. So yeah, definitely.
So if I write a proposal and let's say August 30th, you decide that you like it and we've already gone through a couple of rounds and whatever. So how long do I have before I have to submit the book to you?
You know, we just talk it out at that point. You know, some writers are faster than others. People are often juggling multiple projects. And so I come and say, what about this release date? What about this delivery date? And you say, sure. You're like, no. And then we work it out from there. Yeah. So.
Now, does an author have any say in like the book cover?
You know, historically they have not. I am trying to do, and a lot of that was just because, like I say, our lead times were ridiculous. And so more and more I am reaching out and saying, what are your thoughts? I can't make promises. And the reason I can't make promises is because so many people weigh in on those covers. And then sometimes ideas that we think are going to work, then the designer tries to do them and it's not coming together. But I am trying to involve the authors more and more because it's so important, you know. I've had a couple of books published with publishers, and then I've done self-publishing too. And that's one of the things I treasure about self-publishing is that total control. So I understand how important it is. We do have kind of a house look. We're not going to show faces because what if it becomes a movie? Then, you know, we don't want to make it weird. And we really, based on focus group feedback, we focus a lot on beautiful settings that people want to escape to. So we do have kind of a house style there. But yeah, we're going to try to involve authors more and more.
Perfect. Any other questions? Well, Stacy, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much for being with us.
I really appreciated being invited, and it's just really nice to connect. So, yeah. All right.
Wish you all the best during this pandemic.
Thank you. Yes, you guys too. Stay safe.
Before everybody goes, let me do a gallery shot. Very good. And thank you again. And happy anniversary, Eunice.
Thank you.
Eunice has been at Hallmark for 1 whole year. The first year of many more.
I hope so.
I love your background with all the books.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, all right. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions you have, you ask Maria later, and I'll like try to follow up too if you think of follow-up questions later. Okay.
I think there was a proposal she was going to send us let us see that.
Yes. Yeah.
When you say proposal, you said 4 to 5 pages. You're really talking about a synopsis, because we define a proposal as having chapter pages.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's really good point, Shirley. It's really like a plumped up synopsis, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Fine. Got it.
All right.
How are you going to send the sample proposal?
I'll send it to Maria.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll share it.
Yeah.
Okay. By on the blog or
what? I want to check.
How are you going to share it? On the email or blog or?
I'm just gonna.
I will email it to everyone.
All right. Thanks. Just wanted to know where to find it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Sure.
What if we had self-published, I mean, prior to proposing to you, would that be okay?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we've worked with some authors who are were mostly or all self-published before. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Please.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Eunice.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.